Hey, what's up, good people? Welcome to another FIREDUP Casey episode. I am your host, Z Wanganga, and today we're talking about basketball. When I say basketball, I'm not saying the games. We're talking about entrepreneurship and branding in basketball. I know when someone says basketball, they're thinking of LeBron James or Steph Curry. But today, let's talk about being able to help players who are not on the main league be able to get their branding. And today with me, I have another legend from Kansas City. He is the founder of UHOOPS. So help me welcome DeMarcus Weeks. How you doing, sir?
Hey, what's up, man?
Good to have you on the show, man.
Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
It's an honor. I think I was telling you backstage, man. I just love the love you just show our page. It's just so much love. You're so you kind of make me keep wanting to come out and do more interviews just because of the love you show. So thank you for what you do.
Appreciate it, man.
For those who do not know who DeMarcus is, give them a little bio about yourself and how you started UHOOPS.
Basically, as I introduced myself, DeMarcus Weeks, as I go by.
Yes.
I started UHOOPS about 7 years ago.
Wow.
About 7 years ago.
Wow.
Can you believe it? 7 years ago. It was actually kind of like a friendly conversation when I had with a couple colleagues during that time. Shout out to my boy Ray Jefferson, who's doing some really big things in the basketball community, especially with the women's basketball and things like that. So one day we was just talking, having this conversation. It was kind of transpired from one of my favorite entrepreneur movies, The Social Network, which it was inspired by, Mark Zuckerberg, his story. And so just looking at that, I was always wondering, like, wow, that's such a really cool story, back end story, and just the drama of him building that thing or whatnot. And so just having the conversations, my friend Ray was like, "Hey, DeMarcus, you should start a social network site with basketball players." I'm like, during this time, it was just like not like unheard of.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, why would I do that? Like, and then he was like, "Man, like everyone, you connect people, you love connecting people." And I was like, I don't think I want to do that, because at the time I was just like really trying to figure out what I want to do with my career, and I was just like really starting off with my career at the time. I played 5 years overseas. I played in the D League and things like that. And it just wasn't really what I actually thought it would be in a sense, but I also still had a passion for it. But I had wanted to pretty make I like to emphasize on impact of people. And so with that being said, so during that time, I was still playing professional and doing UHOOPS on the side. It was kind of like a side project, and like one of them things like, hey, this ain't gonna take off. It's just my little hobby. And so what happened was, once we built up the website, people were signing up. We within like the week of I think it was 2012 at the time when we was just kind of doing a beta. UHOOPS had over within a week times a month at over 10,000 signups. Wow. From all over the world. It's just crazy. It's like, wow. So once we started hey, maybe we do have a thing here. So we was just trying to figure it out. And so, and so what happened over the course of times, doing your entrepreneur journey, things happen, things change.
Exactly.
And you have to pivot things.
Yes, true.
And so when we started pivoting our company during that time, we started seeing a need for young players who wanted to get their foot in the door, but didn't have a voice or didn't have a connection. So what we wanted to do is empower people with social media and pretty much building a safe place for players who don't have the big agency, who don't go to KU or Dukes and stuff like that, which I had friends who go to these big schools and have the privilege to have access to agencies and things like that. And so what our company did is, for me being the CEO of the company, I wanted to pretty much lead the charge of saying, hey, it's still a way to you pursue your dream. And so what we ended up doing is, once we built it out and found that niche, we wanted to focus on HBCUs, schools like UMKC, small level schools that got kids that got big level talent, but just not being discovered. And so once we did that, we found a niche. We found a really cool niche. We found the niche of doing tours, and one of our biggest opportunities happened was we ended up going to Mexico, which was a really cool experience. It was chaotic, but it was a cool experience, man. It was just like one of them things where you never thought that, hey, we always have this one roadmap of saying, hey, it's one way to do things, but there's multiple ways you can do it, especially with the power of the internet. Led us to be able to do these things, and it was really cool thing to just be able to do something you love doing, but
Yes.
also helping people and trying to, put people in position to, thrive in the things that they love.
Yes, yes.
So that was our journey far as in that space on how we kind of really found our niche. And
Yes.
our niche was like really serving players that go to the small level schools.
Yeah.
And just really just trying to inspire them and say, hey, it is an alternate way
Exactly.
to pursue your dream and use that platform. And me being a black minority in a position of power,
Yes.
it was just rewarding to be able to lead that charge of
Yes.
doing things like that. Though
Yes.
it has been a journey. It has not been easy, far as when things go bad.
Exactly.
Everybody blame you, which is okay to come with the territory, but at the same time, your mission is to impact, impact and be a beacon to other people, and show other people that it's other ways that you can really pursue what you're trying to do and make a living doing it.
Yes.
I've been doing it for 7 years, at a high level, and I'm excited for where we want to go. So it's been fun, man. And like I said, I did it. I had pursued my dream. I did it at a high level. Still passionate about sports and passionate about basketball and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I'm a businessman too. And I was always thinking pretty much further ahead. I really never thought that I would. My thing was always getting into real estate. I never thought I could even start a basketball company on an international level, let alone being an entrepreneur. Because like I said, growing up, we was always taught like one way to do things, especially as sports athletes. We always not really thinking, but we always told what to do. As far as scheduling and things like that, and just never really having an opportunity to really think outside the box. So I really commend what's going on in today's world, especially in college kids and being able to get paid and things like that. Because that was one of my things that I had struggled with, honestly and openly. Even though people like, oh, you go to school, you get you're an athlete, you get scholarship. You get scholarship, but that money do run out. And you have other things that you have to do. You have to eat. You have to watch. Just little things of that. And so me going to school or when I had cut my career short going to school, I only played 1 year of college basketball or whatnot, and end up going pro. I was like, hey man, I want to make money doing what I love doing. And I bet on myself. That's one of my hashtags and one of the things that I like to say, bet on myself. And I bet on myself and never really looked back, and it's been a journey. It's been really cool. Been a great experience for me.
And like you being someone who I know you've traveled to different countries. What would you say, because I know personally for me, when I left my country to come to the U.S., I had that feeling of, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't think, am I going to be able to survive this? What do you think is for me? I think for me, what it did for me is once I was able to get through that process of being able to, adjust a new system and being able to become successful in what I was doing, it made me have to say like, I can do anything I want to do. For you, what was that for you, like going into different countries? Did that motivate you more to do what you do, or what did that do for you?
Me getting, shout out to the Philippines for really giving youths that platform to take things to the next level. But me getting the opportunity to really go international on board had really took my mind to a whole nother level of like, wow, I can be global. I can actually have a huge impact, not only just on sports, but just being able to just be a voice for people and showing, people, who's on the outskirts looking at people in America that, hey, you can have a dream. And then for me, having the access to people that I know, I can use that for good to actually help somebody that don't have the access to things. And so I was looking at things totally different, honestly, man. When I had an opportunity to go overseas, I just was so like, I hate to say it, just so Americanized in the sense of far as ignorant in things that I didn't even really know exist or that was happening or just having access to. And so me having the luxury of like, well, I would say more now even, with COVID happening now, with the privilege of traveling at will anytime I wanted or whatnot. but it just really made me appreciate, you know, to be able to have them experiences and just seeing things from a totally different perspective, you know what I mean, and really appreciating what I have and what I'm able and what I could do, and you know, sky's the limit. That's what really really helped me, you know, as far as take my business and mindset to a whole nother level. I think so.
Yeah. What would you say is the most challenging thing you face as a business owner, as with running your company, and were you guys able to learn from that? And
definitely, I would say number one, your team. You gotta have a great team.
Yeah.
Number two, I think personal development. Yeah, I know what for me personally as an entrepreneur, it was more of my personal development, because at one point in time when I was establishing YouTube's, my company was doing good, but me mentally, health wise, I wasn't doing so good. You know, and I think as entrepreneurs, it's just really important for us to just take care of ourselves, our well-being, and it's okay to say, hey, I'm not doing well, you know what I mean, and take a break and things like that. I would say finding funding, different funding. I was fortunate to play basketball, have money saved up to kind of take a risk. I mean, anytime you're doing business, it's a risk or whatnot, but you know, it's just having access to capital and things like that, and just really being able to make the right strategy moves, you know, and talking to people, mentors and things like that. I would say for me, probably having a little more, I would say not more mentors, but mentors in specific areas like financing, personal development.
Exactly.
And you know, you see as now more life coaches. I think that will be a really good investment for a lot of young entrepreneurs.
Exactly.
We may not, you know, 22, 23-year-old entrepreneur, what I need a life coach for, you know? And I mean, it's just things that you don't think of down the road. I think if I could do things over, tweak a little things, I would definitely, you know, would say them prior things, you know. So to
like today, first of all, I want to say toast to doing 7 years.
Oh yeah, man, 7 years, man.
And
7 years.
Also toast for betting on yourself. That's very important. Being able to bet on, you know,
bet on yourself, man.
Who you are, and being able to figure that out, right? Now let me ask you this. So you are from Kansas City, right?
I'm actually from Memphis.
From Memphis,
yeah,
wow,
moved up here. Got stuck up here, man.
Wow.
Yeah, got stuck up here, man. Fell in love.
Yes, I think that's a story. Like most people have on the show are not from KC, but again, in KC and just love KC.
Man,
Same with me. I'm not from KC.
I mean, I have been all over the world. It's like Kansas City got a hold on me or something, man. Like, seriously, like I just can't get. Like I have lived in the Philippines, Spain, and it's like when I see that Plaza waterfall, and like I just get so excited. It's kind of cheesy, man, but for me, that I ain't seen like some amazing places. It's just, I guess, the comfort. It's so comfortable, easy going, easy to talk to, the people and things like that. And for me, I have pretty much all my establishment here. I became a man. I became an entrepreneur. And my kids, you know. So and it's a lot of special connection. You know.
What would you say is there a difference in the culture here in the U.S. versus when you go outside, becoming like a black business owner in the international world? Or
man, to be honest, that's a great question I ask, because for me personally, going overseas and like literally in the middle of the month in the week, people looking like, how are this young guy is, and it's like we on a Tuesday, he's in the Philippines. It's kind of funny, like, and these guys who are, you know, a lot older, probably retired and stuff, and see me in the middle of the day. I'm sitting in like my condo overseas and stuff like that, and they asking me these questions. So I think it's viewed a lot different than in the States, because not saying I'm not respected here, but far as being a black guy, young and traveling, especially in the Asian culture, as far as in that demographic of the world, it is different. People will ask. I mean, I didn't think none of it, because I'm in the midst of just really serving. And looking back at it, it was a cool experience. Very respect. People. I mean, I have even to this day have government officials that I can call up and for favors and doing things like that. I think is I hope and wish more people were able to travel, especially minorities, to be able to go and get them experiences.
Yes.
And be able to see that. I don't like to talk too much in politics, but as far as just like I said, being a young Black man in America who's just trying to get that opportunity to get a voice heard, and especially being from not saying I come from a low poverty income, but just coming from a single parent home.
Yes.
Like so many people of our race and things like that, a lot of kids don't get that chance to get that voice. And if you're not LeBron or Steph Curry, you may not ever get that shot. You know? And so Entrepreneur is another vehicle for kids, and can really get a voice heard and be heard in your space, your respected space. You know what I mean? And for me, I just kind of like, not saying I am Steph Curry, I'm DeMarcus Weeks, but I have found my niche. I'm comfortable, and I bank on myself. You know, because a lot of times people have asked me like, "Hey man, why you didn't continue playing and things like that?" For me, a lot of people don't know. I actually wanted to be in the NFL. To be honest, I was really good in football.
Wow.
And what happened for me, I just had an opportunity to play, and I maximized until I couldn't maximize it anymore. And I try to tell kids, sports is a great vehicle to get to where you're trying to go, but don't put all your eggs in one basket. You know what I mean? And for me, I wish someone would have told me that if I could go back. You know what I mean? Because I spent many years of training, just being in that one space and not really honing my other interests and things like that. Not saying that when I was a really excellent student, I was top 10 in my graduate high school class. In high school, so I was academically and athletically, but everybody's school's not for everyone, honestly. Traditional schooling, which is okay.
Exactly.
But it's just really just understanding and finding niches, and that's come where mentoring and coaching and things like that, and having people like you who allow us to have a platform to share our story and journey.
Exactly. I think this might be my last question, but let me ask you this: what would you say has been either your biggest challenge or your biggest failure that you had in your life, and turned out to be something that you learned from, and what are you most thankful for?
Oh man, honestly, that is a really good question. Honestly, I would say, man, there's so many levels. As far as that, I would say for me, trusting people. Too easy, especially when it comes to business. For me personally, I would say, but I'm a very spiritual guy, and I always feel like everything is divine and connecting with the universe.
Exactly.
I would say mostly, trusting. I had, I ain't gonna go into depth. Had a situation with a partner, in a sense, just being too. I mean, we always have a thin line of trusting people, whether it's relationships or business or whatnot. But for me, it's just asking more questions. You know what I mean? Like really asking more questions and getting in depth, because you never know. And for me, I would say that I was just too naive or something, especially in my entrepreneur journey, of not asking enough questions. You know what I mean? And just really getting in depth with that particular individual. You know what I mean? And sometimes they may not be the bad guy or whatnot. It just may not be a good gel for us. And I would say for me personally, in my entrepreneur journey, is asking more questions, being diligent, and when things and never really forcing things when you're trying to mush things together. If it's not working, it's a reason why it's not working, and just kind of let it separate itself. You know what I mean? And sometimes as young entrepreneurs, we always try to wheel our way on things and things like that, and we can really cause harm to our businesses and sometimes have a relationship that you can't really recover. So I would say that for me.
What are you most thankful for?
Man, my family, man. I would say my family, man. My kids. I'm more thankful. I'm definitely thankful for that. Especially with COVID coming around, it made me realize what really matters the most for me personally. And I was able to restore relationships with my brothers and family and things like that because I was stuck in one spot. Because normally I'm always traveling, always on the run, and then just kind of like sometimes you gotta go back to your ground roots, and I'm really thankful for that. Family is the most important, for me personally.
Definitely.
And then everything else fall in line.
Let me ask you. This is gonna be the final question before I go into like the game part of the show. What is one thing you've learned ever since becoming a business owner that you say you want to tell someone out there or a younger person out there who's trying to make it happen? What is one thing you've learned so far?
I would say never get too high, never get too low. Always stay in the middle. Keep your expectations high, but always be realistic. And your realistic expectations become exponential realistic expectations. That's keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes we can. Hey, who wouldn't want to become a billionaire? Honestly, who wouldn't want to be the next Jeff Bezos? Exactly. But sometimes it's a fine line of being realistic and the draw of the luck. But for me, I don't believe in luck. I believe in preparation, and luck's fine itself. Or whatnot. So I would say that.
Wow. Now, again, thank you for coming on the show. It's been a great conversation.
Man. I've been watching for a minute, man.
Thank you. Thank you for the support and love. It just it motivates me and inspires me. And then to the game section of the show, my first one I'm gonna ask you is top 5 NBA players.
Oh man, you trying to get me like look, man. Okay.
That's why you gotta sip the wine for this week. So that's why I have the wine here.
Look, I'm gonna sip the wine. I'm gonna be reading these comments. They gonna be on me, man. Top 5.
Yes, top 5. Ooh.
Let me think. Let me ponder here. I mean, it can be so many variables when it comes to top 5 NBA players. It's kind of like soccer. I'm a big soccer fan too. I would say top 5. I mean, if you want to go stats-wise, culture-wise, a variety of different things. But as far as me, I'm more I like players, but I like the dominance of a player. You know what I mean? And the consistency. I would say right now, number 1 would be probably Shaq. The number 3 is Shaq.
Yeah, he's an entrepreneur. Like he's been in the game.
Been in the game for a minute, man. He's doing general commercials.
Yeah, he does. Shaq he is.
Shaq.
Wanting to think of a business owner, entrepreneur, that's Shaq right there.
Shaq for sure. I would Shaq. Number 2, I would say I would have number 2. Number 2. Man, it's tough.
There's so many names to call.
I would say Magic. I would put Magic up there. Great entrepreneur guy again. Great entrepreneur. Magic, I would say Magic up there. I gotta throw LeBron. Definitely LeBron. Yeah. Jordan.
Yes.
Kobe, and I would probably say KD. KD is coming. KD coming. I would say KD. That's my top 5.
Yeah. Wow. That's It feels like your top 3 are pretty much people who did what you do, being able to play basketball and also go into the business side of it.
Right.
So people have the same mindset as you do.
Definitely have an mindset. I mean, I didn't get to the NBA to that level, but I had an opportunity to have NBA workouts.
Yes.
And I was okay with where I was. Getting the opportunity to be in possibly playing the D League and then taking my talents overseas. So I did really what I wanted to do with that, but at the same time, I wanted to think bigger. I couldn't wait on someone giving me an opportunity. I had to create my own opportunity, which I created to be that.
Exactly.
Or whatnot. And it's definitely competitive. I'm super competitive. I mean, I still I still think about players and played years ago, and I'm still holding that grudge.
Let me ask you this. Give me top 5 business/business owners in Kansas City for you.
Top 5, man.
It can be a number. It can just be 5 people.
Top 5.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, you can no need to rate them. Just 5 people you think. 5 either people or business in Kansas City.
Top 5.
Top 5.
Man, top 5. Like doing a variety of different things.
Yes, just variety of different things. People who you think have been influential to you, or think you've seen them be like, yeah, they're doing some great stuff. And
man, there's a lot of people doing a lot of great things in Kansas City. I would say my good friend Dre, he's doing the music.
Okay.
It's shout out to 7 Entertainment. They got a really cool studio and doing the things with the yoga. I was saying 7 Entertainment. Shout out 7 Entertainment.
All right.
My guy TJ Robertson, man, doing some really cool stuff. Kingship, the cafe. Craig Moore.
Yep.
Shout out to Craig, man. Craig used to work with you. He's
Wow,
man.
okay.
Craig doing some really major stuff. I always watch him. I always send him good regards. He's really putting the culture up when it comes to minority. I like what he's doing. With that, I see you, Craig. I see you.
I see you, Craig.
We gotta shout people out when they're doing really cool stuff. You know what I'm saying? For me, I look at it like this. I don't really need no shout outs. You know what I mean? Because for me, I'm always gonna bet on me, and I'm always gonna get what I need. And I feel like when you put out good energy in the universe, good energy gonna come back. And sometimes we, as individuals and humans, we do things to get validation, or we do things to say, hey, it's like, if I do something nice for you, I'm hoping something expected. So when I'm doing something nice for somebody or whatnot, really ain't looking for no expectation. So that's 3 there. I would say, who else? There's a couple women up in there, man. My friend Rebecca. They are vegans. They cook wild card style. That's what they do. They go around doing these events. They doing some really cool stuff with the vegan stuff. I'm not vegan. I eat vegan food. Eat a lot of vegan food. Myself or whatnot.
Are you vegan then, or?
I'm more of a vegetarian. I don't really eat red meat or whatnot, but I eat vegan. I definitely eat vegan. You know, shout out to the vegan guys. You know, and so one more, Christian, yeah, she's doing her thing with the yoga. I'm in depth with the yoga stuff. She's doing some really cool stuff with the yoga and spirituality and health and wellness. You know, and like I like to say, you know, health is wealth. As a kid, I could never understood that. You know, and you just hear that saying, but then as you get older, it makes sense, man. Health is wealth.
If you ain't healthy, you can't enjoy life. No matter how much money you have, if you can't live life, there's no meaning to it, right?
There's no meaning to it.
But again, thank you, DeMarcus, for coming on this show. It's been a true honor to be able to chat about your business, your venture, because I think the most important thing for me is being able to see anyone, no matter what you do, keep on going, right? Being able to, no matter what happens, if life doesn't hand you what you think it should give you, you're like, it didn't hand me that, but I'm going to figure something out. Let me just keep pushing. And you were a complete example of that.
Yeah, I've been fortunate with that. To be able to, and the cool thing is, with social media making the world small, I have friends from across the board, from London to New York, China, Mexico.
You are international. You're international. I'm gonna be like you, DeMarcus. You're gonna put me on. But again, thanks for coming. So, how can people get in contact with you and what you're doing?
People can get in contact with me. Check me out on Instagram, dweeks@gmail. Man, I'm telling y'all my email. I'm tripping, y'all. It's the wine, man. Make sure you get that. But you can hit me up on IG at dweekskimmy or at uhoopslead. That's our business page where you can find all some of our content, and also at uHoops Global Updates. That's kind of like where we get all the DeMarcus weeks and all the stuff that was happening. Stuff like that, man.
Sweet. Thank you for coming again. But for those of you who are watching at home, wherever you are, thank you for tuning in. It's been another FIREDUP Piece episode. And it's your host, Nganga. And you know what to do. Go subscribe, share this, go subscribe my FIREDUP KC, and if you're on Roku, go to @KingYoungTV on Roku. And again, hey, you know what to do. Stay fired up, don't give up, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye for now.